Now,
You're live.
he and I talked, and he told me where it's coming from. I think it's coming from, I want to say,
Be on YouTube.
the liver or the gallbladder. So if he heals, if he can heal the liver or the gallbladder, he heals him. Wow. You see, because
What's that?
yeah.
So what's the link I need to send them?
Saying
trying to keep that other one on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin shortly. Thank you for joining us. We will be live in just a moment. We have a very special presentation today, so please don't go anywhere. All right, we want to welcome everybody out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have a phenomenal time today. We are celebrating Cicely Tyson's Centennial celebration. That is 100 years. She would be 100 years old. Guys, go ahead and put your hands together. That deserves a hand clap right there. We are live right now in Fort Worth, Texas. We can now say the new birthplace of Juneteenth. So thank you guys for coming. We're in the Doc Bookshop. As you can see right here behind me, it is the heart of Fort Worth, Texas. My name is Dr. Washington with Ebonyopoly, the black version of Monopoly, where we say all the time that our history should not be a mystery. Once again, I want to thank you guys for coming in. We are so happy to be sponsoring this event with the Doc Bookshop, getting ready to give you all types of things today. We've got videos for you to see. We've got speakers for you to hear. We've even got a special surprise of an artist that is here live as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get out the way. I'm going to introduce one of the owners here at the Doc. Danya, take it away.
Hello, everybody out there. I am Danya Craddock, co-owner of the Doc Bookshop in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Thank you so much for joining Cicely Tyson's Centennial celebration. It is an honor for us to pause, and I think the nation should be pausing because she had such a tremendous contribution to just humanity, not just her race, but to humanity. And it is it is up to us to continue her legacy. We will not bury her story. We will continue that. So in 2021, we were fortunate to be one of the booksellers on a live feed with her and Whoopi Goldberg. Subsequent after that interview, it was announced to the world that Cicely Tyson had transitioned. It was we did not know listening to her, but it was a wonderful experience, and to know that she gave her final message to booksellers. They honored us. They honored our conversation with her before they announced her transition. So we don't want to labor this long because we have a full night and we have a great guest that's coming. But we're going to go ahead and show this clip. A lot of people may have not. Excuse me. A lot of people have not seen this interview with Whoopi Goldberg. Let's go, team.
I am Whoopi Goldberg, and I have the honor and the privilege of talking to Miss Cicely Tyson about her new book, which is her memoir. And it's on sale now at HarperCollins and all fine booksellers. I just am knocked out. First of all, I want to mention that As I Am is got the most beautiful photograph on the front cover.
Oh my God.
Of you in all of your glory.
Yes.
And I have to ask you about it because when I looked, it said Snowden, it was Lord Snowden did this photograph. And I don't know if people watch television, but Lord Snowden was the husband of the sister of the Queen of England. Margaret was her name. And I wonder, how were you just you're just hanging with Princess Margaret and Lord Snowden, and they say, hey, let me take your picture. How did this come about?
I was in London doing promotion for the movie Sounder.
Yes.
And he was the photographer.
Wow.
And so when he finished doing the work for 20th Century Fox, he said to me, Miss Tyson, I am so smitten with you. I wonder if you would permit me to do some photos for my collection. I said, of course not. And he did. Now, I never saw that photograph.
Really?
I never saw it. He sent it to Arthur Mitchell as a birthday present. And Arthur's PA person, whose name was, I call her Wiggins, said that he put it above the head of his bed. I never saw it.
Wow.
When he realized that he was going to leave this world, he asked her to take it down and give it to him. And he said, this belongs to Cicely. Now, my mouth fell open like a broken pocketbook. Do you hear me? I could not believe it was so stunning. It was in keeping with the title of the book, Just As I Am.
Just As I Am. That is, I love that story because his photographs are magnificent.
Yeah.
And this photograph, I think, for me at least, is in the top 2. And I'd put that as number 1. That's all I'm saying. I think it's magnificent.
Yeah, that's been a compliment all over the world.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And the book is wonderful. I am having a great time reading it because it reminds me of the women I grew up around.
Yeah.
but I am curious as to why you decided to write it now.
Well, ever since I can remember, for the last several years, people have been asking me, when are you going to do your book? And I had been asked a few years before by Barbara Jordan,
Mm.
not by her.
Right,
I was asked to award her
right.
Something. And after I finished, I turned to her and I said, when are you going to do your book, Barbara? She said, when I have something to say.
Yes.
I said to myself, well, if this woman who has accomplished so much can say that, so can I.
That's
So
right.
I stole it from her. So whenever anyone asked me, when are you going to do your book, Cicely? I said, I have something to say. All right.
Well, that's
Shortly after that, I had an interview with a writer from the Washington Post. And when he was finished with me, he said, well, when are you going to do your book, Cicely? I said, when I have something to say. He said, well, you've been talking to me for 4 hours and you have plenty to say.
Yeah.
Right. People know the Cicely Tyson up here
Right.
with all the bangles and the stars and the awards and God knows what.
Right.
Okay? They don't know about the one from down here. They don't know her at all.
Right.
Okay? He said, oh, you're talking about the Christmas tree. What? You're talking about the Christmas tree. I said, you know something, Larry? That is the most appropriate definition of my life. I started way down here in the dirt, like the roots of the Christmas tree. Okay? That is the most, to me, the closest image to a definition of what my life has been like.
Yes. I love that.
And that is what prompted me to write the book.
I love it. And so let's talk a tiny bit about Sounder now, because I understand that you hadn't planned on being an actress.
No.
What?
I wouldn't hear of it. What do you mean, actress? What do you mean? Well, she thought that an actor in
Right.
or maybe from where she came from, Nevis.
Right.
They live in a house of iniquity.
Right.
They're streetwalkers. They're sluts. What you mean, actress? You can't do that and live here, she said. So I moved.
I bet that surprised her.
Oh, yes, she didn't expect. I had a girlfriend who wore the same size dress, who had a working job at AT&T, had an apartment.
Right.
And she said, you can come stay with me, Cicely. And I just packed my little Georgia bundle and went to Jackie's house. And that she didn't see me anymore for quite a while, but she was stunned.
I bet. And what piqued your interest with acting?
Well, I had no idea that was what I was going to do, because we never went to the movies. We were not permitted to go to the movies because of the reasons I just gave you.
Right.
And so it was people telling me like that I should be an actress because there was something about me that emitted this kind of talent, I guess, because I had no idea.
Right.
But I was walking down, I was modeling. And this woman, whose name was Evelyn Davis, isn't that interesting? I ended up with the last name Davis. I had gone out for a modeling interview. And this woman, whose name was Evelyn Davis, an actress, was sitting in the outside lobby. And she said to the editor, whose name, the name of the magazine was Our World. It was before Empress magazine. And this woman went into her and she said, "Who is that little woman that sashayed out of here?" So she said, "Oh, that's a model, Cicely Tyson." Well, she looks just like the character that they're looking for to play in this movie. I just auditioned for the mother of the boy.
Right.
And so, excuse me. And so she called me, the editor, and I was working for the Red Cross, so I was doing double
duty, yeah.
And she told me the story. And I said, "I don't know anything about acting, and I'm not going any place to make a fool of myself." So I hung up. She called me back 2 or 3 times. I said, "Mildred, you're gonna make me lose my job. I'm not going." So finally she called me. "Okay, I'll go, but don't call me back here anymore."
Right.
Okay. So I went over to Carnegie Hall, and this gentleman, who was a former actor from Porgy and Bess, he told me that he had written a script entitled The Spectrum, and it was about the lights against the darks in the Black race.
Right.
And he thought that I was appropriate, and he handed me this thing that I now know of as being a script.
Right.
And he said, "Take it home and read it and see." I said, "But I'm not an actress. I don't know anything about acting."
Right.
He said, "Read it and I'll call you in a couple of weeks."
Right.
He called me in a couple of weeks, and he said to me, "I think that you are perfect for the role." So that started my acting career. I had never been in an acting studio before, hadn't planned to,
Right.
and that's how it started.
That's just remarkable, because now we can look and see, for someone who knew nothing about acting, you were pretty doggone good. You were kind of magnificent, I will say. And I know that you talk a little bit in the book, or not a little bit, but you talk in the book about being a married woman for 8 years to the legendary Miles Davis. And you're very blunt and very clear about life with Miles. And what made you decide that this was the time to talk truth to people about Miles Davis?
Well, when I made the decision to do the book, if I wasn't going to talk about things that were relevant in my mind,
Right.
and all of those experiences that I had that made me who I am, then there was no point.
Right.
I have a life outside of acting.
Right.
Okay. And it's that life outside of acting that allows me to give you some of that.
Right.
And that's all. Okay. So I said, there's nothing mysterious about me. You know, you have a job from 9 to 5. You go to work, you do your job, you go home, then you have a life.
Right.
Okay? No, who cares what color pajamas I sleep in, or if I sleep in any pajamas at all.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? That's none of their business. Okay. So, and that's how I treated my life. Because if I did not have an outside
Mm.
life that fed me,
Right.
I would not be able to give you anything,
Right.
really.
Well, one of the things that I read was that you had a insane sexual assault at the hands of an acting coach.
Yes, indeed.
You didn't let it stop you. It didn't change who you were or
Well,
how you saw yourself. But tell me a little bit about that, if you would.
he had an objective and I had an objective.
Right.
I went there because I had done a movie without any training at all whatsoever at the recommendation. I went to the school for Lord Richards because he taught. Harry went there, Sydney went there, Diana Sands, and she said to me when I said I said, you know, I don't like this business. I don't know what I'm doing. Everybody tells me that I'm talented. I don't know what they're talking about. And so I'm just going to go back to typing. But so I went to audition and to meet Lloyd Richards. Now, when I went to the school, Lloyd was not teaching that day. He had alternate days of teaching.
Right.
And I just sat in the back and listened to. But when I got ready to leave, he asked me, man asked me to wait, that he wanted to talk to me. And so I did. And it got to be a very ugly situation. And so I had an objective, as I said, and he had one. Well, I know what I went there for.
Right.
And that was not
It. Yeah.
And so when I was able finally to free myself from him, I left. And then when I was walking out the door, he said to me, classes begin, and he gave me a date. If you're still interested, you're welcome. I never looked back.
No.
When the date came, I got dressed and I went to the school.
Mm.
When I walked in the doors, he stopped his class and he said, I thought I would never see you again. Well, that was his.
Right.
Because you were not going to stop me from getting what I came there for.
Right.
Okay? And so I had a seat. What I did was I attended classes only that Lloyd Richards taught. Okay? So, and that really, when I say to young people, if you have something in mind that you want to achieve in this life, nothing or nobody can stop you but you yourself. He ended up in jail finally.
I'm so knocked out because I know that when you made Sounder, you really didn't think you were going to get this job. which I don't understand because I can't imagine you not feeling and knowing that this character was yours.
Mhm.
Did you feel it and you just put it to the side and said, well, we'll see what happens? Or did you know in your soul that part was yours?
Or I knew that Rebecca was mine. You know, when I interviewed Marty Ritt and Bob Radnitz, they wanted me to play the school teacher. And I said I could play that with my pinky.
Yes.
I
Yes.
would like to play Rebecca. Oh, you're too young, you're too pretty, you're too sexy, you're too this, you're too that. I said, but I'm an actress, you know? Anyway, they did not agree that I should play the mother. They went in search of another actress who they hired, but they weren't willing to pay her enough money, so she turned it down. Now, in the meantime, I started rehearsing Rebecca.
When I think of all of the folks you were on stage or in films with, like, I don't know, Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee,
Yeah.
Isabel Sanford. I mean, did you always know that this was going to be a tough but fulfilling road, being a performer, really?
Well, actually, by the way, at one point, I played Ruby's daughter. I also played, Ozzy plays my first father.
Right.
He also played my boyfriend. So I really was ensconced in that family. It really was. There was so much joy in acting for me
Mm.
that I never thought of it as being tough. It taught me so much. It helped me to become the person that I learned that I am today. I learned so much from every single person whose life I had to enter and
Yes.
learn something. If nothing else, that person was not for me. I learned something. Okay, so for me, it was the joy of the gratification from people. Ask me why I don't watch my work. Okay, I said because the gratification comes from the doing of it, building this character. And from each one, I have learned something. And I am a better person because of that.
Right. What was it like the night you sat, oh, I can't even remember the theater, in the Taper, maybe, when you were nominated for an Oscar the first time? What was that like for you?
Well, I always watched the show, all right? And said over and over and over again, one day I'm going to sit in that front row. Okay, didn't know why, didn't know when, but I always said one night I'm going to sit in that front row. And it came to pass. You know, that's all. I had no role, nobody was hiring me, but I just knew I was about to leave to go do Sounder. And so on the way to the airport, I went to his home and I said, I'm going to Hollywood to do my first big movie. And he said to me, and you're going to be nominated for an Academy Award. And I said to him, and if I am, you will be my escort. And that's exactly what happened. And the Oscar Awards was held on his birthday. flew out and he escorted me. Yeah.
That was extraordinary.
Yeah.
And you are linked to a public school and a middle school in East Orange, New Jersey. How did you get involved with these young people?
That's a good question. Because the principal, Mrs. Trimmings, God bless her soul, and the board decided that they wanted the Black children in East Orange to have images of
Yes.
themselves. And she found out who my agent was and called him and said, we would like Cicely Tyson to represent our school. 100% was the vote. So my agent called me and I said, no, I don't live in New Jersey. I don't have any connection with the school there. I knew that there are other Blacks that have attended the school. Why don't they select one of them?
Right.
For one solid year, that woman never stopped. She kept calling and calling. She said, we will not take no for an answer. And my father had a family in New Jersey.
Right.
And one of them called me up one day and said, listen, I think you ought to take that offer because, when your father came to the United States from Nevis, he came to live with us, and the house we lived in is right around the corner from the school.
Wow.
And it's still standing. And so I thought, oh, and I'm supposed to complete the circle.
Right. Right.
And so I said yes. And that's how it happened.
I love that. So you finished your memoir talking about always being asked what legacy to leave. I can't imagine how people could ask you such a question because your legacy is very clear, but I will take the question as the gentleman wrote it. It says you finish your memoir talking about always being asked what legacy you leave. What legacy will you leave?
No, I say you. One cannot leave anything they do not have.
Yes.
Okay? And I set out initially to change the concept of Blacks, especially Black women in this country that was absolutely circled around the world. If they were to make a choice to send a movie abroad, they would select a Black exploitative film instead of a movie like Sounder.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
And I wanted people around the world to know that there are people out, women especially, out of sluts and drug users and drug pushers, and that we have doctors, lawyers, Indians, and chiefs.
Yes.
And if they would just equalize those images, I would not probably have done it. Okay, but when a man told me that he got upset because he was watching Sounder and that this little Black boy was calling his father daddy, and he thought that was improper. Well, wait a minute now, come on. Okay, I made up my mind at that moment, Whoopi, no, I have some work to do. So I could not afford the luxury of just being an actress. I had some issues that I wanted to address, and I was going to use my career to do it.
Well, as it turns out, that story, I have to tell you, that story knocked me over. But then to have it followed up with yet another person not understanding
Can
how
you
it was
imagine?
possible
Can
that
you- I stood there. I didn't know what to say, but in my mind, I said, "Oh, Cicely, you've got some work to do."
yeah, yeah. And one wonders, whether he ever recognized that we actually are just really one people.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? How can you not know that?
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
That he was shocked that the son called his father daddy.
Daddy.
There are not enough hours in a day. I could talk to you about everything, about the great women that you've known, like Diane Carroll and Roxy Roker and, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Oprah. You still know Oprah. We both know Oprah. And the folks, and Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, she for me was a great champion as well. But I'm told she was the producer of one of your shows on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
I was doing something in California, and I was staying at one of the hotels, and the phone rang, and Miles was with me then, and he said, "This is Elizabeth Taylor." And I looked at him like he was crazy.
Right.
I said, "Okay." Give me the phone. And it was her. And she wanted me to do that. But that was a battle from the top to the bottom. Really.
Screen. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. She wanted to do something that she's been wanting to do for a long time. But it got to be conflictual because they got involved.
Right.
You gotta be able to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
You have to know why you get involved in a situation,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't mix them.
Yeah. Wow. Well, my last question will be very general. As you see the world going, what are your hopes for the future?
Hope. What is that word today? What does it mean? Huh?
I think it means really, what are the possibilities for us in the future?
Well, Whoopi, when I was a child growing up, and we sat down at the dinner table, and the family, and my mother talked about how difficult it was during the time of the World War II, especially for Blacks, and especially for Blacks. I never dreamed that I would be living in a time where I would witness it, or worse, and worse, and that we as a race of people have come to the point where we are being treated worse than we were at that time.
Yeah.
The Depression. And I do not, I find myself day after day wondering when it will come to an end. And why did it ever come to a beginning? And so, despite what everybody thinks or says or feels, I do not see it. I pray for it every day. I never thought I'd be incarcerated in a room in my own home where I couldn't go out
Yeah.
to buy a loaf of bread. I never ever dreamed that that was possible.
Right.
And then I'm told that the worst is yet to come. So where is the hope? If we do not build it within ourselves, okay, I don't know how we'll find it. And I particularly am upset about the treatment of the children. They're being played like a bouncing ball, up and down, up and down. What kind of future can these young children have when 1 minute they're in school and then they're out of school?
Right.
And nobody knows why they're in school and nobody knows why they're out. So there is no sense of normalcy in their lives today. Huh?
It's true. It's true. Well, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to encourage people to go out and get your book because it offers a lot of hope to folks.
Thank you.
It is giving, it is loving, and it is truthful. And after the last 4 years, at least to me, truth is everything. I really like what people
do
tell
if nothing else.
Yeah. So that is my interview.
Thank you.
If that's okay with everybody.
Yes, it is. It's okay with me.
Excellent. Excellent.
So Rama Akmil, come forward.
Hello, my name is Rama Alkamil, and it's truly an honor to be present here in this space with you all, this virtual space, as we celebrate the centennial celebration of Cicely Tyson. This past week at the Doc's weekly open mic, Donna had informed me of Cicely Tyson's book, Just As I Am, and since then I've done a little research on Cicely Tyson, and I've been impressed by her work for the Black community, and especially for the Black arts and all the progress that she's made for Black women, people who look like me. And as you can imagine, it brings me great joy to be present here today to share my original piece, As I Am. Like birds pick a tree. One moment, bear with us. Take me as I am, all flaws and all. Like birds pick a tree covered in debris with leaves on the ground. Then you'll understand. Take me as I am, scarred Scars meant to be seen, lead stories you'll read, meant to be a pretty girl, dimples and old eyes, hey skinny legs with heels small in size. They say be me, the me comes in threes, maybe even four, led me to it. Take me as I am, all flaws and all. Like birds pick a tree covered in debris with leaves on the ground. Then you'll understand. Take me as I am. Scars meant to be seen, lead stories you'll read, meant to be a pretty girl, dimples and old eyes, hey skinny legs with heels small in size. They say be me, the me comes in threes, maybe even four, led me to explore. Big mirror box with infant faces, I'm staring back, comparing our cases. Same destiny at different paces. Russian, not sure why the race is, not sure if I'll make it. So take me as I am, all flaws and all. Like birds pick a tree covered in debris with leaves on the ground. I know you hear me, won't you type back? Oh, running over feelings, running like a tape track. It's still me and you. When we are free, we are to be who we want to be. So won't you take me as I am, way she birthed me to be. Light and dark in everybody. Lead me to believe truth in every part of me. So take me as I am. Take me as I am, all flaws and all. Like birds pick a tree covered in debris with leaves on the ground. And you'll understand. Take me as I am. Scars meant to be seen, lead stories you'll read, meant to be me. Thank you very much. My name is Rama Alchemil, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Rama the Alchemist. That's Rama, R-A-M-A, the T-H-E, Alchemist, A-L-K-A-M-I-S-T. Thank you.
Brahma, I called her my little, she didn't say that she is actually from Sudan, but she's been in the States, so she has just a history that come Tuesday night, they all come Tuesday night and share their stories. So with no further ado, we are about to bring up Abi Odun Oyewole. So while we do that, we're going to flip over and then prepare to bring up Abi Odun. But hang with us. This is going to be just a dynamic conversation, and we're going to continue the celebration. And those that are out there online, share, share, share. Bring everybody into this room, because this day we should all pause. I know we're all busy. A lot of the high profile people got movies and all that stuff coming out, but we should pause to the Empress and bow down. This is her day. So we will be right back at you with Abiodun Oyewole from The Last Poets. Baba, we love you, and thank you for being here with us. We're about to switch it over. Welcome back, everyone. I am here, Danya Craddock, co-owner of the Doc Bookshop, with my lovely co-host, Donna Craddock. Donna, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone.
We are going to just reflect on that message and her legacy, but we have none other than Abiodun Oyewole from The Last Poets. He is a poet, a teacher, and a member of the African American music and spoken word group, The Last Poets. Y'all should have had a song going to his intro song, which developed. You hear me, Dr. Washington? Y'all should have had his intro song going for Abiodun Oyewole. I'm probably messed up, but it's too late now. He gonna give it to us, which developed into what is considered the first hip hop group. And so we're going to bring him forward. His son Pharaoh is actually in the area, and he is just a fixture at the Doc Bookshop. So it is just an honor to have his father, our father, Abiodun Oyewole.
Hey, Baba, how are you? Okay.
Did you unmute?
Want to make sure we can hear you. Baba, did you unmute?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm no less than blessed. I'm doing
It
fine.
is so good to see you.
Yes, it's good to be seen.
Oh, okay. Well, did you get a chance? Go ahead.
I was going to say I enjoyed the interview that Whoopi did with Cicely Tyson, and I really enjoyed the song that the young lady sang, and it's very. I think it's very nice, and it's very important that we give tribute to those icons. who made a difference in our lives.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us on tonight. And so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna let Danya drive, but
I want to thank you. I talked to you a lot on Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday night, Doc open mic night, and I stepped away. And I said I gotta call Baba and find out if he's going to be able to do the Centennial celebration, because he's just a resource of information. And I just want to jump right on into it. We're celebrating Cicely Tyson. First of all, what did you think about that interview between her and Whoopi Goldberg?
Well, I thought it was very good. It was very revealing, even though I do know some other information about her and her going to Hollywood, because I had a chance to meet Cicely Tyson's mother, and her mother had issues with her becoming an actress. She really didn't want her to go out to California, and she didn't want to be a part of that because she felt that it was going to be she would be in the den of nicotine.
yes.
So I knew a little bit more personal information about Cicely because I lived with her daughter, and that's something that a lot of people were not even aware of, the fact that she had a daughter.
Yeah.
So when I heard the I was a bit surprised that a lot of personal information didn't come out. But that's okay because a lot of us have things that we want to share and things that we like to keep close to our chests. So I understand.
And she does refer to in her book about being a mother, and that is one of the most things that she's most proud of. She talked about her, but I think she referred to her as Joan, but that's not
her name. Her name was Marlena, and she had named, the reason she used the name Joan, I understand she did not want her to be attacked by the paparazzi. She wanted her to remain anonymous because she knew that if people knew that she was her daughter, they would be knocking on her door and bothering her for information, and she wanted to save her from all of that. But I can tell you one thing: Marlena loved her mother dearly, and I felt many ways that Cicely, she loved her daughter as well, but she sacrificed her daughter to become an actress. She actually put her daughter in a Catholic convent while she was in Hollywood.
Wow.
I used to take Marlena up to the Bronx on Boynton Avenue to get messages from her grandmother to give to her mother, because Cicely and her mother were not talking. They were not having they weren't engaged in conversation. Her daughter was a conduit between her mother and her grandmother. I even met Cicely had a sister named Rose. I met Cicely's sister and her the kids, her I guess her nephew. So I kind of met members of the family, and I also knew Miles Davis very well. And Miles and Cicely had a very tumultuous relationship, but they were locked into each other very seriously. And she appears on the cover of one of his albums. But they had a strange love life. But I knew both of them very well.
Oh wow! So part of that in that interview, she mentioned that, why would you? If I'm going to write my book, I'm going to write it when I have something to say. And Whoopi said, "Well, you mentioned Miles Davis," and she basically said, "Well, that's what's important to my success and who I am." So she honored him, and from what I understand, that she was with him all the way up until he transitioned in 1991.
Yes, She went to see him every day when he was in the hospital. She was dedicated to Miles. They had a very strong relationship. And I remember that. Matter of fact, I remember seeing Miles on Riverside Drive one time, and I rolled up on the curb, and I said, "Yo, Miles, what's up with Cicely?" And he said something I'll never forget. He said, "I'm gonna marry her. She's too beautiful to leave alone." and he was very serious. They had a very serious relationship, and Miles was a character. He was a real character, and Cicely loved him very much. I mean, it was a love, but they had different issues, but there was a strong love between them, and they looked like they were from the same tribe. If you saw them together, it was almost like they looked like brothers and sisters.
And nowadays they scared to look like they from the same tribe, but I'm gonna let that go for right now. That's a conversation for another day, right?
Exactly. But I do know that Cicely was the thing that I loved about Cicely was the fact that she was a woman who set the tone. You know, in the world that I watch a lot of sports, and we have quite a few sisters who are commentators on different sporting events. And it breaks my heart to see them with that Barbie doll wig and those false eyelashes, and them trying to look like the white girls that are on TV. The one thing that I will always respect, Cicely Tyson did a TV show, and that wasn't mentioned in the interview. She was one of the first sisters to be on a TV series. It was called East Side, West Side. And the person that was starring opposite her was George C. Scott. And I mean, I have a tremendous memory, and I can remember this stuff like it was yesterday. And Cicely came on TV with that short afro, and it was the most outrageous thing that anyone had ever seen. I remember some black women were actually complaining, what is wrong with her hair? And she was being very natural, and she was beautiful. And I think myself and a lot of other men fell in love with her immediately because she looked so good being natural. She was the first woman to ever present herself on the screen with a natural look. Just that alone is a major, major badge of courage as far as I'm concerned. And then another thing, Cicely never took a role that was embarrassing or downtrodden or shameful for Black people. Every role she took, we could be proud of. Jane Pittman, Moses, Sounder, The Heart of the Lonely Hunter. I mean, every movie she ever played, she was a woman of pride and respect. She never did. You never saw her play a hussy. You never saw her play a slut or somebody that was cheap. She always carried herself in a uplifting way, and I appreciate the roles that she chose.
Call from all you
Baba got a lot going on. Baba actually, you would be surprised, he still does poetry and open mic at his house in the Bronx. He actually stays in the Bronx, and he still do a lot of poetry open mic.
I'm in Harlem.
Are you in Harlem? Okay.
And
why did I put you in the Bronx?
I don't know.
Cicely was in the Bronx.
Oh, Cicely was in the Bronx.
She grew up in the Bronx, and then they moved to Harlem.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew you were in Harlem.
Yeah, and I do it. I have it before the pandemic. I was having an open house every Sunday at my house, and quite a few known poets like Saul Williams and Jessica Care Moore and Sheba, a lot of different poets who are out there and very famous. Aja Monet, a lot of them would come to my house, and I would make salmon croquettes and home fries and fried. I would cook, and I would share poetry. We would share poetry, and then we get feedback. But when the pandemic came, and then we couldn't have anybody physically in our surroundings, I just stopped having open house. But my son, Pharaoh's brother, and my niece, they said, "Pops, you can still have the open house." Yeah, we can't even get together. What are you talking about? So we can do it online. So the last couple of years, I've been doing it online, And now my open house is even more international than it ever was. I've got poets from Nigeria, Brazil, South Africa, the world who participate when I do this open house, and people that from California, all across the country, they get on the line and share their own, and I'll give them feedback. We're actually working on an anthology of some of the work that has been shared at my open house, and it's been a big need, and I'm very glad that I'm continuing to do it, because a lot of people who write, they would like to get feedback from their work, and at the same time, I want to help them raise their level as much as possible.
Oh wow! Thanks so much. We got to remember that, and I do remember. All the stuff that you've done in Harlem, and especially for uplifting poets. And you know what? That's why we continue. Let me tell you something, Baba. Sometimes we say we're going to drop open mic, but just thinking about what you do consistently at your age, I said, how can we stop? And we've been doing it every week. And that's how we came across Rama, the one you just seen. She comes every Tuesday night in this house, and it's poets, it's singers, it's dancers, it's all kinds of art that come here every Tuesday night. But every time I think about it, I was like, oh my God, I think of you. And I said, we got to keep pushing.
Well, let me give a shout out to y'all, because I know the work y'all have done. My son talks about y'all all the time. Plus, I've been to the Doc bookstore. And Donna, I have nothing but love for you because of the fact that my son and I have done a book called Legends 1 and 2. And I did poems about some of our great icons, and Donna found pictures to go with those poems. Aren't you the one that did the pictures?
Yes, I assisted with the book. That's a beautiful book. We need to do a part 2.
The book is ridiculous. It's outrageous. And when I go places, I sell the book, and people fall in love with it because not only are they reading the poem, but they're seeing what the person looked like. I mean, when you came up with we got the picture of Amy Spain, and I had never seen it. I didn't know about that 17-year-old girl who was hung back in the day. And you found a picture of her to go along with the poem. And it just brings things into light in a way that we didn't see it before. And I just want to personally thank you for your contribution and your dedication to trying to raise the level of consciousness for our people. Our culture is the only thing that we have to fall back on, and we've got to continue to push that. And the Doc Bookstore is a cultural center for us to learn and grow and be stronger and wiser than before. They don't want to teach Black history in the school. You are living Black history every day.
Oh, we appreciate those words. Those words are they are so important to us, because sometimes there's so much going on. Oh, did we lose them? I think we lost them. Oh, okay. There's so much going on in the book industry. And to have someone acknowledge the importance of Black-owned bookstores, that's just truly, I'm just so proud of that. Cicely Tyson in her book. Oh, did we lose him again? Okay, Cicely Tyson in her book, she talks about, to find movies that she wanted to do, she will always visit a bookstore. So I'm so appreciative of you speaking on the importance of a bookstore, as you know, because the industry is going through transition. And so we got to really uplift those bookstores that deal with history, community, activism. Those are important. And a lot of people lose sight of that. So I'm happy you brought that, out to the public in terms of the impact.
Well, the bookstore I'm going to tell you something. After the church, because at one time it was like the church was a citadel of our expression and our liberation on some levels. But the church is still that to some degree, but the bookstore makes it even much clearer, because you've got books written by people who've done research about who we are. You got books that give us information that you're going to never get from a church. And then the fact that you're having activities in your bookstore to highlight some of the, that's special also, because you do have some other bookstores around, but they don't have space where people can gather and share what they have in terms of their art, like just doing something like celebrating Cicely Tyson. I don't think there are many places in America that are doing that. I think this is very, very unique.
Baba, I've seen more people sharing when she transitioned versus her 100 years. She was four years shy of being 100. And we did a lot for James Baldwin when he did his 100th celebration, but the publishing companies led that. And so I don't think sometimes we can just lead it. And we don't have to wait somebody to tell us when to celebrate somebody that has made a tremendous contribution to our history and our culture. So, and I'm so happy. I scoured to see who is actually doing something for her centennial celebration. And sorry to say, it wasn't that many, but I will say Tyler Perry has a new movie coming out. And in that movie, she stated that she wanted, Cicely Tyson, in that interview, Cicely Tyson stated she wanted more films that uplift women. And Tyler Perry, I don't even know if he even seen that clip, but he's had a close relationship with her. His film next is dealing with the uplifting of women. So I think it releases tomorrow.
Well, you know, I hope that Tyler Perry does something that will be uplifting, because I'm not happy with Tyler Perry at all. When Medea, Medea was insulting as far as I'm concerned. To be a grandmother in drag did not make me happy at all. But I heard that he gave Cicely Tyson $20 million, which was more than any of their industries had ever given her. So he provided her with some monetary wealth, and I'm sure he respected her tremendously. And he's got the biggest movie studio. No black person in America has a studio as large as Tyler Perry. But we've got stories to tell. And you know, when they did that story about those women called Hidden Figures, I was upset. 30 years they've been down there taking care of the NASA space program, and we did not know that.
Right.
And there's so many other things that black women. I wrote a piece recently called Madam President, because a lot of people are upset that Kamala did not win the election. I wanted to make it clear the black woman has been the president of America since America's been born. No one has done more work to make this country what it is than the black woman. She is taking care of the white man, the white woman, the black man, the black baby, and the white babies too. She's done everything, and she continues. Those stories are yet to be told. And it breaks my heart that no one seems to recognize the worth and the wealth of the black woman.
We need to hear that, Baba.
And I missed that movie. The movie is called, I should have known this. I've been looking at it. It's just been a lot going on. 688 that comes out tomorrow, and that's the Tyler Perry movie. So after what Mama Cicely Tyson said, I really want to check out that film on tomorrow. So,
well, I was going to share some fun facts about Cicely Tyson, but I think in conversation, Baba, you pretty much covered several things I was going to share, because I was going to share about the fact that she was the first to wear natural. You already talked about that. You already talked about certain roles she wouldn't take because she only wanted to project Black people in a positive light. And also in 2016, Barack Obama gave Cicely Tyson the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in 2016.
Right.
4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean 14 years ago.
Yeah, and then there's some, and I want to point out this book. I just want to take a minute to point this book out, because this book, Renee Watson did this book on Cicely Tyson. It's a children's book. Well, I don't say children. I'm going to say a picture book, because really, honestly, this is a family book. She did a great job with this book. So if you get a chance, and I know I'm not doing a shameless plug, I'm not, but go online, stop at the Doc Bookshop and get this book, because seriously, this book need to be in your libraries, because Dwayne asked me if I wanted to stand. I should have got the stand, but hold on for a second. I should have got the stand. But I just want to share like just some of the pictures from this book.
You got
Okay, I just want to share. Who's that? Is that John? Okay, well, come closer there. Okay, come. Okay, thank you, John. Say hi to the people. Okay, so this is a book that's talk about her true style and true beauty. And you know, she was known as a model, known as a fashionista. She always presented herself with elegance and grace. And so this is a poem dedicated to her. It's this beautiful book. And then let me read this part. I need to read something to y'all. I know I'm not really prepared, but I'm going to get there. Okay. Which one do I want to share? It's so much to share. Okay, y'all. Wait a minute.
While you get there, can I talk to Bob about something? I wanted to talk to you. She mentioned Ruby D.
Right.
Wait, hold on.
Because you talk about Ruby D. She talks about this because Ruby D was some of her friends, right? Because Cicely moved in with a friend because, like you said, when she went to Hollywood, her mother and them stayed back because they didn't want to go to California. But she was in Harlem, but she couldn't stay with her mom because of the Hollywood thing. So anyway, she came in company with legendary change makers like Ruby D, Ossie Davis, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Isabel Sanford, Diane Carroll, Maya Angelou. I just love hearing those names. Even, all those were actually her friends. There are icons, but they are all in the same group together.
Right. Well, but they were grouping together because they had no other choice, really. I mean, even though they were actors, and they were not really given a green card in the club, so they had to support each other and work together. And that was a salvation for them to have each other to lean on. Ruby D was absolutely stunning. She never got the roles that she deserved. She never was given part. She was a tremendous actress, and she would not yield to the industry like they wanted her to. Dorothy Dandridge got some more different roles, but Sidney Poitier, some of the things they've done to the black actors and actresses is insulting. Sidney Poitier got the Oscar, a movie that was ridiculous, where he's a black man just came from nowhere, building a chapel for some nuns. And Sidney Poitier was a tremendous actor, and he could have gotten an Oscar for a number of things he had done in the heat of the night. When he played Officer Tibb, he could have got the Oscar for that. He could have got the Oscar for Something of Value, The Story of the Mau Mau. He could have got the Oscar for a number of other stories, but they gave it to him because those Oscars are given to people based on what a so-called dominant society would like us to do. They did the same with Denzel Washington. They gave Denzel Washington the Oscar for playing Training Day. And that was a nigger cop, and he was horrible. And it was the worst role he ever played. And he could have gotten it for a number of roles. You knew he was never going to get to playing Malcolm X because that was the wrong politics. So Hollywood is a sham. But Cicely Tyson got nominated for Sounder, and they weren't going to give her an Oscar for it because that would have been too strong. They gave Hattie McDaniel the first Oscar because she played a maid in Gone with the Wind. So they give Oscars. Oscars are motivated, and Cicely Tyson wanted to get awards. We all would like to receive awards for our work, but the system is designed to give us awards for what they want us to do.
Wow, that's powerful. I want to tell you, Hasna Muhammad, Ruby Dee's daughter, came to the bookstore. And Baba, you
Okay.
wouldn't believe what happened. She came to the bookstore. She was standing in the front of the store. You know, if you come to the store, we have all these images and pictures in the ceiling. They just
Yeah.
hang. We from all the artists, the poets, the African leaders, they're all hanging in our ceiling, their pictures. I
Yeah.
tell you, this is crazy. Hesna walked in and we were standing in a circle talking. Ruby D picture flew out of the ceiling and landed right at her foot. I can't even make this up. If Hesna would tell you, I mean, we all look stunned like, did this just happen? We have a rug, a star rug, it's a star rug in the store. She fell right in the center of the star rug. We
Well,
didn't
you
have
know
a
what?
fan blowing. What is?
And we don't die, honey. The ancestors are with you as we speak. And the ancestors, all of the folks that you cared about that were part of your life, all of the people that we cherish, they're still here. We can't see them, but the spirit is strong. We are spiritual people, and we should not be surprised when a spiritual occurrence takes place because the spirit is stronger than the flesh. And we're going to see a lot of, you know what? Donald Trump is in office. This is going to be a heck of a 4 years. Mind my words. You're going to see some things take place that nobody has ever expected because Donald Trump represents opposition to the spiritual world that we're about. And anytime that Black people are faced with opposition, we show up. Our resilience is remarkable. Our strength is special. Our God works all the time. We're going to have some magnificent achievements during this period. And Donald Trump is going to be the catalyst for the change that many of us have been trying to see. A lot of when we had Barack Obama, we relaxed. A lot of us said, "Oh, we made it." We relaxed. If Kamala had been in office, a lot of us would relax. We cannot relax now, and the spirit is going to take over. Our ancestors are going to reveal themselves in many, many ways, more than just a picture of child that they had. A lot of things take place that are going to be totally unexpected. I cannot wait to see the show starting.
Yeah, and that's why I was so obedient. I said, I don't see a lot about this centennial celebration, but I'm going to be obedient because what are the odds that it just came to me December 19th? I don't remember dates like that, but it was brought to in my face. And we took it upon ourselves to say, we are going to celebrate, and we have to celebrate. When she did that last interview, she was mostly talking to African-American booksellers that was on that live. She did interviews after that came out after that, but everybody knew she transitioned. Nobody knew she transitioned when she talked to us. So that within itself was like, I've talked to my people, those that are going to carry forth this message. And she transitioned, like, how I found out she transitioned, Baba? After the live, one of our staff members said, the lady that you just was talking to, the shade room said she passed. I said, I didn't know what shade room was. I said, girl, see, y'all playing. I fussed at her because they're young. So I fussed at her so bad. And then, I don't know, shade room, y'all need to stop this mess that y'all have on social media making stuff. We just talked to her. And lo and behold, she had transitioned. We first heard about it in the shade room from one of our young people.
Let me explain something to you. We only change neighborhoods, honey. The transition is a very spiritual one. She moved from one neighborhood to the next, and you are doing her a great service by recognizing who she is and what she did. That her work makes her immortal. Cicely Tyson will never die. Michael Jackson will never die. Prince will never die. Martin will never die. Malcolm will never die because of the work that they did. And when you honor them, it's a clear message to them and to those that don't know that they're very much alive in our world. And you have done the right thing. These white folks honor their presidents during February. They had President Week. we're supposed to remember Lincoln and George Washington and all that stuff. They honor the presidents. They got them on dollar bills and on paper money, which we know is very divisive and causes a lot of people to die because people kill each other over that money. That's one reason why I didn't want Harriet Tubman to be on those $20 bills. She wasn't about no damn money, but we honor her existence even now, over 100 years that she's been gone. And we honor the spirit of the people here who did work for bringing them back to life in our world, but they moved to other neighborhoods. I give you credit, just give praise to a sister who had respect for black people and want people hold high esteem, hold black esteem, and be celebrated properly. Because many of our sisters are treated very cheaply and are not even the respect they deserve.
Amen. Yeah.
So, Baba, if this is at your disposal, did you do a piece on Cicely, or which piece you talked about? You did. You said you did a poem. Did you do a poem on her?
No, I have a poem called Madam President. I just included a lot of women.
Okay, yeah, that's the one, Madam President. Is that at your disposal?
Yeah, yes, I have it here. Let me pull it out. I'll share it with you.
Okay, wonderful. We would love to hear that poem. And we want to thank everyone for joining us for the Centennial celebration for our beloved ancestor, Cicely Tyson. When you look at her, I just love her. I'm just so encouraged by her. Just her, like I said, her style, her grace, her integrity. And one of my favorite movies of her is with her and Richard Pryor. And she was
Bustin' Loose.
Oh, I love that music. I love that movie and the music.
Bustin' Loose was an excellent movie, and it was very funny.
It was excellent. You know, I watch that movie at least twice a year. I love that movie. And it's because of her. I really.
But it did. But one of the things that made that movie special was it showed Richard Pryor, who was a known comedian, with a very serious actress working with children, which gave us an inside view of their personal love for children. And anytime you can be ingratiating to children, you've got to recognize the humanity of the human being. That movie was one of the top movies on my list as well.
Yeah, I love that movie, and I love the soundtrack.
And nobody would ever expect Cicely Tyson to play opposite Richard Pryor. You could never imagine.
Yes. So yes, that's what
I have the poem
okay.
here, and I did it. Well, you hear it, you'll understand what it says. Madam President, the black woman has always been the true president of America. She was brought here from Africa to raise bad children from Europe. Her love of life caused her to provide supreme service for these children. She grew the cotton, picked the cotton, became the cotton they wore, the bed they slept in, the blankets to keep them warm. She became the sugar cane to sweeten their drink, the tobacco they smoked, the indigo to dye their clothes, the peach that made their cobbler, the apple that made their pie, the rice they ate for dinner, the flapjacks they had for breakfast. She was the humming of the wind, the rain on the crops, the morning dew, the sun shining after the rain. This is who the black woman was and still is. the milk for their babies, the manners to correct them, the prayers for their safety. There would be no America if she had not raised it. She has presided over everything that concerns life in America. Still, she is mistreated, abused, and scorned, forced to watch her man killed, sons hung from a tree, locked up in prison, suffer and live in misery. Her blessings are cursed, yet they know she is their mother. They even call her Mammy.
Wow. We just gave Baba, he just brought in a whole nother generation. He has done some amazing things. I do that.
That's an
That
awesome
spoke to
poem.
a lot. That's deep, and that is something that is going to be cherished and studied for decades.
Well,
Powerful
I
Baba.
appreciate the
Yeah.
opportunity to share. And I'll let you know in on something. I just had my very first art exhibition last weekend. And now I'm in the world of being a visual artist. I've been painting for the last 4
Really?
years.
Okay, we're gonna have to
wow.
do something where we see your paint, your work. But you got the anthology coming out too. You got an
Yeah,
anthology coming out.
I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I mean, I try to, I'm here for a moment, and I want to make every moment count. And I have sons and I have angels around me, and who always support everything I try to do. So I'm very grateful and I'm thankful, and y'all are angels to me as well. And I want to just thank you all for being
Yeah.
there. And I know it's a struggle. Anytime you have a Black business, it's not easy. So I know that whatever struggles you'll go through, I'm happy that you're all still standing, and I hope that something great will happen for you so that you don't have to struggle as hard as you have to. As you've been, because we need dark bookstores. We need these type of celebrations. We need to recognize those people who have done something good for us to make us feel good about ourselves. And Cicely Tyson will be immortal just because you have recognized the gift that she gave us.
Okay.
Thank you, Baba, for your
Baba,
beautiful
before you go,
words.
I do want to, I get these brain ideas, and I have to call people, and I call certain peoples, and one of those peoples is Dr. Dwayne Washington. He has this game. I don't know. Can you see this game? It's called Ebonyopoly. I don't know. Can you
Yes.
see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Come on, Dwayne. Wait, come on over here, man. So I do. It's because of him we were able to really jump in and get this celebration going. Hopefully, it's not too late that people can just continue to celebrate her. I don't want to limit it just to her birthday. It's 100 years, and I think on a national level, it probably should have been more done for Cicely Tyson Centennial celebration. But we are just happy to be the ones to kick it off. And thank you so much. I just wanted him to see Ebonyopoly, and we're gonna have to send him one out there, or make him come to Dallas Fort Worth area and give him one. So, yes, the last words. Did you want to?
I want to say, I want to echo that we do need the doc, right? We need the doc, and we need those types of bookstores all over, from Marcus Bookstore all the way in Oakland, all the way to Mahogany on the East Coast, the doc right here in the Fort Worth area in Tarrant County, because where else can you go? That is a triangle. That's the trifecta right there. And like where else could we go?
You know what they used to say? They used to say, if you wanted to hide it from Black folks, put it in a book.
It's funny they say that, but I'm definitely Black, and I definitely start reading books, and I've made millions of dollars of stuff I've read in books.
Let me
So
tell you
I
something.
appreciate it. And now I just dropped a new book.
Let me give you all another fact about Cicely Tyson that was not mentioned and that a lot of people will never know. And this is a fact. Me and Marlena, her daughter, we were house sitting for Cicely Tyson when she went out to California to do the movie called A Heart is a Lonely Hunter. I don't know if you saw that movie, but that was one of the movies that she did. While she was there, we were house sitting. Cicely Tyson had a studio apartment around the corner from Miles Davis between Western Avenue and Riverside Drive. And when I first went into her studio, matter of fact, on that first time I went in there with Umar bin Hassan, the other brother in the Last Poets that wrote Niggas Was Scared of Revolution. And he was with me the first night, and he didn't have no place to stay. And Marlena said, "What are we going to do with this guy?" I said, "Take it with us." He sleep on the floor. We were staying at Cicely's house. When I walked into her place, it was a big studio apartment. It wasn't too small. It was a nice size, but it was a studio apartment. A little kitchenette and a big room where it was like a living room and bedroom all combined in one room. She had shelves all around the wall and in the ceiling filled with books. I've never seen any place with so many books. Cicely Tyson was an avid reader. Because I asked her daughter, I said, "Did your mother read all these books?" And she said, and she looked at all the books up there. I mean, I'm talking about every single wall was a bookshelf, and she had shelves in the ceiling. You ain't never seen nobody with no books in the ceiling.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not telling you something I'm making up. I saw this, but now I'll be honest with you. When I asked Marlena if her mother read the books, and she said yes, the one thing I did say that might have not been too complimentary was, I said, "Your mother's awfully lonely," and she said, "Why you say that?" I said, "You can't read all these books and have friends."
Hilarious. For those folks who listen, once again, I mean, it is. I remember the first book I actually read, and why I read it. I remember outside of just school and stuff, but it was 1995. I was working for Microsoft, and I went into the cafeteria, and there was a guy reading a book. It was an Office 95 book, and I said, "Oh man, you know something about Office 95?" And he said something that changed my whole life. He said, "I will when I finish this book." And it just never occurred to me that, like, if I want to know something, if it's in the book, if I read it, then I know it. Like it's almost like a cheat code. And I've bought tens and tens of thousands, you know what I'm saying? And it'll change your life. It expands your vocabulary, expands your mind, expands your thinking. And so that you'll be able to, change your life and the life of others. And once again, I do want to thank everybody for coming out, and to the young folks that are listening. You heard some serious history here. Now, you might not be in Fort Worth, Texas. You might not be in New York. You might not even be in a major city. It doesn't matter. There's still history in your town. Find you somebody who has been around, go talk to them, and then sit down and just listen to what they say. You may have hundreds of years worth of information that's in these people. A friend of mine just told me the other day, he said that whenever someone old passes away, it's like a library being burnt down. And so don't let that library be burnt down in your town. Find somebody, listen to those stories. That's what Ebonyopoly is all about as well. We've got stories inside of that. We call it the Black version of Monopoly. It is phenomenal. If you don't have one, you definitely need to get one. Go to ebonyopoly.com, or go to, if you're in a major city, the African American bookstore in your area probably has that. So go down and support them. Amen. Support these brothers and sisters that are there. We need doc bookshops. Once again, where else are you going to go? Where else could we go? Even in this city, this is a big city. Where else could we go and have this type of experience? Even when we got ready to launch our game, there are people that call. We had the #1 distributor of games call us and said, "Hey, we want to distribute your game." And we said, "No. We're going to develop a network of Black-owned bookstores from coast to coast, and that's exclusively where we're going to sell them through." So we're going to make sure to help our folks and put money directly in their pockets. And when we went to our community, I'm telling you, they responded, and it has been phenomenal. And so I appreciate you guys. Come on over here. Come on over. I appreciate these ladies here. And like you said, there's a whole lot that they go through that they ain't told y'all. Where Mama at? Mom, come here, Mama. They don't ever see Mama up here. Come on up here. All I gotta do is turn this camera around. Now I'm trying to be cool. I could just. Okay, you think I won't turn this around? You
Come say hi to Baba right quick. Just come say hi to Baba.
vente. Vite, mon, dépêchez-vous. D'accord. Vite. Mira.
You know he want to see you.
There we go. Here's mom over here.
She's hanging in there.
Come
Baba.
get on in there. There we go.
Oh, look at you. That's good.
You see him? Okay, how are you?
I'm good, and it's good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm just sitting back there listening to you. You know I love to listen to you. I learned so much.
Well, you know what? I was just thinking when your brother was talking about the books. I remember when I first got, before the Last Poets really got started, or when we first got started, I was reading the bookstore, because I wanted to have conversations with brothers who knew stuff. So they would be quoting pages from books, like Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. I had never heard of the book, so I didn't know the page he was talking about. Crisis of the Negro Intellectual by Harold Cruz. I never heard of the book. The Destruction of the Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. I had to learn in about 2 months. I read 5 books just so I could have conversations with brothers and sisters who had read these books. So we have a lot of information in books. You can change your life by reading a book. And it's important that we do that. And what you represent is so vital. It's a main vein in terms of the liberation of Black people. And young lady that sang that song, I Am Who I Am, I mean, that's a fabulous song, honey. And you got a great voice. And I really wish you well. I hope that you continue to sing and share your talent, because you are gifted and you got something to say. And I appreciate all of you very much for having this opportunity. Because normally I'd be watching some football right now, but this is a little bit more important.
I ain't gonna ask you about Travis Scott today.
That's what I would be doing too.
All right, we're gonna let Baba get his rest.
Okay.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
So much. We love you.
All right, girl. All right. You'll take care. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, peace.
Peace.
All right. You can remove them.
Well, huh? Oh, I thought he was gonna have the song queued up, at least the song.
What song? No,
Her- No, I thought he was gonna have it queued up, like you close it out. Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Bye-bye.
thank you so much, Baba. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, to tune in. Be sure to follow us, DocLive.tv on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. We have a lot of things that are coming up for next year. We are getting ready to do a lot of books on the quincentennial celebration. Oh, I should have talked to Abio doing about this quincentennial celebration, the 250 years, but we're going to do some books. I'm going to take some book suggestions from him about engaging in this 250 years of the United States of America. So follow us. We have a lot of things coming up, a lot of pioneering things that we're working on. We do 5 festivals a year, so continue to follow us and support us. Thank you very much for tuning in to DocLive.tv. Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Dr. Dwayne Washington, Ebonyopoly. I don't know all the stores, but shout out to Mahogany Books. She has a lot of Ebonyopoly. Again, thank you guys. Follow us and be sure to share. Thank you so much. And if you would like to donate, you can go to Donna. What's the app to donate? Cash App, Zelle, the Doc Bookshop. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.